Thanks for staying with us. Our guest for the full hour here is opposition leader AndrewHolness, former Prime Minister and Jamaica Labour Party leader, survived a leadership challenge in November last year from Audley Shaw, who is now back in the shadow cabinet as his opposition spokesman on finance. We discussed in the first segment of this program the issue of energy, what with the topical issue about Energy World International about to lose the license which was granted to it on April 14 by Energy Minister Philip Powell, who, by the way, has been stripped of that portfolio in terms of the project itself. That is now going to be under the office of the Prime Minister. AndrewHolness saying that that is not enough, and had he been Prime Minister, Mr. Powell would not have had the position that he has now in the cabinet. Let's move on to...
Well, just to be clear, I said a little bit more than that. We are not certain that he has been stripped of anything.
Well, it's all going to be under the office of the Prime Minister.
It doesn't mean that the minister won't have some oversight.
So you're saying the minister...
The Prime Minister must make it clear. These things must be made clear. You know, it's left in a very fuzzy zone, and I'm surprised that the journalists and others who are following the issue just goes with it. It's not clear to us. We want the Prime Minister to come out and definitively say what it is that she has done. Otherwise, you will still have a muddle.
Do you expect yesterday the Prime Minister to have made a statement in Parliament?
That was what was required by the nation.
The fact that she didn't do it, how do you regard that?
You know, I could only say it's an abdication.
Let's move generally to the economy broadly. You talked about a human development revolution that's needed in this country, and perhaps corroborated by figures from the economic reform program produced by the Ministry of Finance, which talks about a labor force of 1.2 million. Of that, 858,000 have no formal training or skill. This human development revolution, you had a chance as Education Minister and for a brief stint as Prime Minister. What did you do on that?
Oh Lord, I'm glad you asked. You know, I heard the President Minister saying we're on track to attain our literacy targets. I wonder who did that. The truth is that we did quite a bit of work on literacy in the Ministry of Education. To know, we are on target to reach universal literacy. That's very good. That's the start of your human resource revolution. Literacy. Critical. We developed plans. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to move to the next phase of the human resource development, a problem which I'm certain that you would have heard me speak on before. The number of students who leave our high schools with no form of certification. When we started in the ministry, you were looking at about 20,000 youngsters leaving high school with no form of training, no form of certification, and leaving as early as grade 9. We managed to bring that number down to close to 12,000 with the implementation of the A-STEP program and the Career Advancement program. Those programs were designed to give universal secondary education to the Jamaican youth. We started work on a program of national apprenticeship, again, designed to increase training in the population. So in my very short time, I think I have done a lot, and those years aren't missing on the Jamaican people. I think every Jamaican parent now understands the importance of literacy as a result of the 4 years that I had. I mean, people take the grade 4 literacy test just as serious as they take GSAT, if not more. And it is on that basis that you're seeing improvements in the results every year at all levels of the education system. So I want it to be established that what I say can fly, and that I don't just give idle talk, that I give presentation. You said the Prime Minister said I didn't have a presentation. You should ask her, in her presentation, give one solution that she has put on the table. One, just name one. In my presentation, I've given 4, and I have not shied away from critical issues. I have not talked around them.
You're saying she did?
Well, you couldn't give me one.
No, you're saying she shied away from critical issues?
You give me, of course. I mean, tell me one critical issue that she gave a solution to.
All right, well, she'd have to answer that. On the issue of spending on education, on human development...
You know, you continue to give the Prime Minister a pass on everything.
Oh, I do that?
Yes, I mean, you have to be more critical.
I'd love to have the Prime Minister on this program.
Well, you have me here.
No, but when the Prime Minister comes on this program, then
wishful
I can ask
thinking
her.
again.
No, but you,
Anyway,
you shouldn't assume that. You shouldn't assume that,
Yes,
Mr.
well.
Holness. And I still expect the Prime Minister to be on this program on direct after numerous requests to her office. In terms of spending, in terms of investment in education,
yes,
there wasn't a significant increase in the budget nominally.
And I'm glad you made the point.
No. During the time when the JLP was
And I'm glad you made the point, because we were able to do all this with an incrementally declining budget. Why? Because we took a fundamental principle, which I carried with today, that government must do more with less. That's the objective of efficiency.
All right, fine. You're asking now the PNP administration to essentially take funding from possibly infrastructure projects like roads to put it into human development.
Hold on. Too often, the discourse about solution is limited by scarcity of resources. So we know what needs to be done, but the answer comes, well, we don't have the money. There are two ways to fund projects within public finance without increasing. The first is to set your priorities. And that's what politics is about. Politics is the game of setting priorities. And then you must be efficient and effective. That is, you must find ways to innovate, create new things, use new technology, use new processes to use the same amount of money that you have to get more. That's what government is about. So when I speak, I'm not asking for additional budget. I'm saying government must set clearly what is its priority. I have said clearly, my priority is the development of our human resources. Why do I say that? 66% of the Jamaican population is under 40. 66%. 50% is between 18 and 35. That is where the real demand is for government expenditure. If we're going to make anything of Jamaica, that is where you need to focus. And I am saying that the government that I lead will focus on that. So if you're a young person, you fall in that category. You're wondering, what will be my future? What does Jamaica have to offer me? And I'm saying to you that I have made it the priority of government to direct our budget to the development of you.
All right, Mr. Holness, the election is 2.5 years away, constitutionally. So let's stick with this in terms of the funding side of things. So you made a recommendation to the government to use part of the infrastructure funds, road repair funds, for example.
Yeah, and that is what you call a tough decision, because there are those who would feel, well, we need roads. And absolutely we need roads. I face it every day in my constituency. But you know, let's stop for 1 minute and face the Jamaican people and say, how are we going to ever get a steady generation of tax revenue so that we can not only build new roads, but maintain roads? Is it that we constantly have to go and borrow to do this? And then the question must be asked, how do we pay for what we borrow? At some point in time, a leader must stand up and face the people and say, well, let us come with a priority of things that we need to do, which makes sense, which when properly sequenced, get us roads as well.
If the JLP were to be in office tomorrow,
so my point to you is
that what you would do?
Leadership, yes, leadership must sit with the people, dialogue with the people, and explain that a far more progressive way of building the country is to invest in the highway of human resource development. And on that platform,
and if you're
on that
Minister,
platform,
you would do it tomorrow.
Of course.
So you would take some of the money from road repairs.
Nobody needs to question that, my friend. Nobody needs to question that.
So you would take some of the money from road repairs and put it into education.
Okay. But that I am not.
I just want to ensure that we have your record saying that.
Yes. No, I'm not hiding away from that. Okay. I'm saying to the Jamaican people that the smart thing for us to do is to invest in the education of your children.
All right, hold that point, please.
They will be paying the taxes to give you better roads and to pay the debt
Yes.
that we borrowed to
All
build
right, hold that
roads.
point, please, AndrewHolness. He is former Prime Minister, opposition leader, and Jamaica Labour Party leader. When we come back from this break, we continue to talk about the economy, because some persons say, look, to coin that phrase from the 1992 presidential election campaign in the United States, Bill Clinton's campaign, it's the economy, stupid. Everything essentially comes back down to the economy, the amount of money that we can allocate to critical things in the country. When we come back, we talk more about the macroeconomy and how does a Jamaica Labour Party government, how would it be different from what the PNP is doing now? When we come out, more discussions on that.